So I'm going to give you a 3-step formula for getting yourself unstuck anytime you feel that way. What's up guys, Coach Carissa here. Welcome to our channel. This channel is all about helping real women lose real weight by uncovering the fact that your breakthrough really only lies at the intersection of the actions you take and the beliefs that you hold, which is just our fancy way of saying that you can't only concern yourself with the physical actions you're trying to take, like how you're eating, how you're moving, things like that, but you also need to get a grip on what's going on with you internally so you can stop self-sabotaging, stop falling back to your old habits, and stop having to start over and over and over again. So enjoy this week's lesson and subscribe for more. Okay, so tonight I have prepared a message for you. We're discussing that aching feeling of feeling stuck in your old ways, maybe stuck in your old habits, what have you. So I'm going to give you a 3-step formula for getting yourself unstuck anytime you feel that way. First, who here can think of any habits that feel really difficult to break? Or maybe some habits that feel impossible to stick, to make sticky? Or in your past, maybe you've tried to change something about your eating or your exercise in order to lose weight, but week after week, it feels like this losing battle. If you've ever felt that way, the point of tonight's message is to gain true forward momentum and have a formula at your hands anytime you feel stuck. So you can maybe get out of your own way, but ultimately free yourself from who you don't want to be anymore and step into who you do want to be. So let's dive in. So right now, you might feel stuck in your current ways or stuck in a certain set of habits. So here's the 3-step formula. First step for getting forward momentum is understanding that the healthiest, leanest, and most able-bodied version of yourself has a completely different set of ways than the version that you're currently nurturing. That means step number 1 is being willing to change. If you're not willing to change, that's completely fine. But don't be surprised when nothing changes. So once you're willing to change, we need to pursue making that change. So this step is twofold. This will be steps 2 and 3. Step 2 is letting the easy come easy. So what that means is some things are really easy to change. Some of you enjoy exercise and doing more is enjoyable and welcomed. Some of you love walking, so walking more was an easy shift. Some of you love drinking water, so drinking more was awesome, right? So for those things, let them come easy. But for the things that are harder to change, we must identify what's really in the way, and we'll call these things obstacles. That's where we're going to spend the majority of tonight. So step 3 is identifying what's really causing you to stay stuck, or go backwards, or fall back to your old ways, time and time again, and therefore get the same results you've always gotten. So in identifying what's really in the way is really identifying anything we feel resistance to, right? There's a certain set of things we need to be doing, and when we feel resistance towards those things, that's what we need to identify. So think of a couple habits in your head real quick that you're struggling to make stick, or maybe in your past have really been a hard-fought battle. I'm going to walk you through an example. It's really common. Eating more protein. So let's say you're just starting your fitness journey and you come to find out after a few weeks of tracking that you're really comfortable and you naturally consume maybe 50 to 100 grams of protein a day. Let's say you come to find out you need to eat 160 grams. These are just arbitrary numbers, but let's say you had to eat 160 grams for 6 months to reach your weight loss goal. But week after week, you find yourself not doing that. I'll probably ask why. You might say something like, I just physically can't eat that much protein, or I get too full, or it feels painful, or like it's not digesting, like it's just sitting in your gut. You might think it's too much and can't be healthy. Those are a couple of the most common responses that I get. Does anyone relate to any of those, now or in your past? Yes. So understand what I just listed is a large list of reasons why most people believe they cannot eat more protein. But what does cannot mean? If you guys have been around for a while, you know I like to define words.
Cannot means you're unable to do something through a lack of knowledge or skill, or that you're not permitted to do something, as in you don't have freedom or permission. So when you say you cannot do something, understand you're really saying you're unable to due to lack of knowledge or skill, which includes application, or you don't have permission or freedom to. So most of us live in America, and most of us are also adults, so we typically have plenty of freedom and permission to do whatever we want, eat what we want, behave how we want, exercise how we want. If you don't, reach out to me. But for the bulk majority of us, we often use the word can't in place of I don't know how, or I don't yet have the skill. So let's unpack each of those perceived obstacles for the protein example. Number one, if you say you can't eat that much protein because it's too much or you get too full, let me ask you this. Do you know anyone else who eats that much comfortably? Most of us do, yes. Do you know anyone else that eats that much comfortably now who maybe used to feel the same way that you did with the discomfort and the fullness? I have people in all different parts of this program, and everyone remembers that moment where they feel so full and so uncomfortable. And then later in the program, they don't feel that way anymore, so yes. So you must admit that if it's possible for others, it's possible for you too. It's not that you can't, you simply do not yet know how to break up that amount of protein in a way that allows you to feel comfortable and satiated and energized. So it's not a cannot do it problem, it's a how-to problem, an application problem, which is taking what you know and making it what you do, which requires both knowledge and skill. So the real question is, are you willing to learn how to eat that much protein comfortably? You can answer this for yourself, yes or no. If you said yes, then let's talk. I know the step-by-step way how. If you said no, though, accept that nothing will change until you're willing to pursue that new knowledge and new skill. Another common example, right? If you feel sick or like you have, GI problems when you're eating that much protein, it's completely normal if your body's not used to eating enough. You need certain enzymes and certain live cultures within your body to digest certain foods. And typically when someone consumes very little of any nutrient, they're lacking those digestive enzymes. So that new nutrient, in this case protein, feels very uncomfortable when you just start eating more. But until you build those enzymes up, it remains uncomfortable. So really you don't have a cannot do it problem. We just have a how-to problem. Application, again, is both knowledge and skill working together. So the real question is, are you willing to learn why you have a negative response to eating more protein and learn how to slowly work your way up to that protein intake through maybe correcting and supporting your gut or your digestive health? Yes or no? Right? If you said yes, it's an easy path forward. Let's talk. I'll tell you exactly how. If you said no, you must accept that nothing will change until you do. Third and finally, let's talk about beliefs. This is a big one. If you believe that much protein's bad for you or unhealthy, you don't have a cannot do it problem. You have a fear and a belief, which is affecting the actions you take. And you must find out if that fear or belief is true or not. So the real question is, are you willing to find out if that much protein is in fact bad or not? If you find out it's not, are you willing to eat more? If you said yes, do it. If you said no, accept that nothing will change until you keep unpacking that belief. Can you see how addressing your obstacles like this gives you a path forward? It gives you tools and an opportunity to get yourself unstuck. Changing the way you eat, how much you exercise, even how you exercise, how you sleep, how you manage stress, it's a lot. And it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to cause disturbance in your life. But just because those changes are uncomfortable at first, or scary, or causing physical reactions, or going against your current beliefs or habits, or just because you currently lack some skills on how to apply those changes, doesn't mean you can't do it. Right? Again, cannot means you're unable or not permitted to do something. Will not means choosing not to do something due to lacking the desire to do it. So knowing the difference between the two when you're self-assessing and overcoming obstacles is crucial, because if you cannot do something, you must know why, so you can overcome and move forward. Is it a lack of knowledge, a lack of skill, a lack of application? There's simple solutions to each of those problems, and you can quickly address them head on and move forward. But if you will not do something, you must know the consequences, good or bad. If you say you can't do something that you actually just will not do, then you're left with no path forward, and you're going to stay stuck, and nothing will change if nothing changes. So your homework tonight and practice for the rest of the week to gain forward momentum and get unstuck is to make a list of all the habits you're currently struggling to stick to. And then go line by line, asking why this habit is such a struggle. And be honest. You can use can't all you want, just be honest. Try and list out some obstacles. And then review those obstacles. And if any of them use the word cannot, just ask why. Is it a lack of knowledge, a lack of skill, or a lack of application? Right? If it's a lack of knowledge, your homework's to research your beliefs and your questions and get more knowledge. If it's a lack of skill, give yourself the reps and the time necessary to get better and celebrate those mini wins along the way. Be intentional. If it's a lack of how to apply what you know and make it what you do, talk to someone who has applied that change to their life already, like a coach. Talk to any of us. Talk to a friend who's accomplished what you're trying to accomplish, and see how they did it. And then test and trial and fine tune until you can also apply that change to your unique lifestyle. That's where the creativity comes in. But understand, if it comes down to simply an unwillingness to change, you need to pause and address that. If it comes down to an unwillingness to learn more or gain more skill or practice different applications, we got to pause and address that too. You must acknowledge if you're unwilling to do what needs to be done, right? You don't have a can't problem. Sometimes you just have a won't problem. So we'll wrap this up right here. If you're unwilling to do research and on your beliefs and your questions, you must get clear that can't is the wrong vocabulary. You actually just won't. And you'll stay stuck until you do. If you're unwilling to give yourself grace, time, reps to get better at the things that you currently aren't so good at, then you must get clear that can't do it is the wrong vocabulary. You absolutely can. Maybe you just won't. And you'll stay stuck until you do. And if you're lacking an applicational skill, which is the knowledge of turning knowledge into habitual action, and you're unwilling to figure out how to strategically apply the things you know, which in your guys' case is just communicating with us, will help you out. You must get clear that can't is the wrong vocabulary. Maybe you just won't, and you'll stay stuck until you do. So if you're willing to gain the skill and the knowledge and the applicational skills to apply what you know, you'll be unstoppable, and you'll have the tools you need to succeed, not only here in health, but in any endeavor. But if you won't, you'll stay stuck, and it's not because you can't do it, it's because you won't.
Thank you so much for watching. We truly hope you enjoyed that lesson. So every single week we make room for one guest spot on these support calls. So if you'd like the opportunity to attend, ask questions, receive coaching, just hit the link in the description box, or you can head over to gainslinger.com/coach me. Once again, that's Gainslinger, GAINSLINGER.com/coach me, all one word. Have a blessed day, and we'll see you next week.